Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So before we get into anything, I just want to say a huge shout out to everyone that's been subscribing and supporting the channel. Honestly, just over a month ago, I hit 100 subs and I couldn't believe that, and now the channel has just exploded within a month's time, and probably by the time this video is out, we're going to hit 2k subs, so that's really unbelievable. And I just got to thank all you guys for just motivating me, supporting me, and getting behind what I'm doing. So a huge shout out to the old subscribers, the new ones. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. We have a review of the GROG Squeezer 10mm mop. So GROG over the past couple of years has probably become the most popular graffiti brand for supplying mops, and they definitely have the most diverse range amongst most brands. The 10mm is a go-to for most riders. It's not too big, not too small. But most graffiti brands probably supply a 10mm mop like this. I know Art Primo, maybe Molotov, Iron Lac, and other independent graffiti stores can easily mass produce 10mm mops, but hopefully GROG, being the most in-demand kind of brand for this, it has a higher quality than those. But we'll go ahead and see. Definitely the body and the soft plastic would lend itself to a higher quality mop. Usually the kind of crappier mops are quite hard to squeeze because it's a harder plastic. Cap seems nice and secure, and then the nib itself is kind of a shorter hair nib that comes stock standard with the GROG 10mm. So I also went ahead and picked up this longer hair nib, which they call the strong hair round tip. And this apparently is a lot more durable than the stock standard nib. Why they can't supply this straight away with the mop, I don't know. Maybe they just want you to buy extra accessories, but you know, that's all cool. We'll go ahead and sub this out for this one. Apparently this one's better for inks, which we're going to be using today. Just because if you use paints with this one, the paint kind of dries up the longer hairs and it's going to become really scratchy and really dry. But we'll go ahead and see and test out this mop. In all honesty, there's probably been 1,000 reviews of the GROG Squeezer on YouTube already, so I'm going to be kind of light on the critique, and this video is just going to be more about me showing some love to the subscribers and hitting them up with the tags that I do. So if you don't know already, if you subscribe to the channel, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below of your word, and I'll definitely try to hit you up in another review video. But other than that, I might say a few remarks about the mop, but just sit back and enjoy some nice hand styles and some chill beats. Alright, so I've gone ahead and filled up the mop with just some normal wood stain. So wood stain is a good alternative if you can't be bothered buying your own ink or making your own ink. You can just go ahead and rack this or buy this at your local hardware store, and it's ready to go straight out the bottle. And then we've gone ahead and swapped out this kind of shorter hair nib for the long hair nib that I was explaining before. Alright, so we start off and the first two tags are coming out alright. Not as much drips as I'd like them to have, but I kind of dismiss it at this point. But by the time I reach the decoy tag, I noticed that something's kind of up with this nib. It's a lot drier, a lot scratchier, and the tag is coming out with not a lot of ink considering how hard I'm trying to press down. So I kind of swap out this long hair nib for the short hair nib, and straight away you can see the massive difference it makes. So I'll get into my analysis of what I think is happening with the long and short hair nibs after all these tags, but as you can see with the short hair nib, the tags are a lot richer because a lot more paint is flowing out of the nib, and that leads to a lot more flowier, consistent and nicer looking tags. I'm not even having to squeeze very hard, and you're getting nice and clean hand styles, but also a nice amount of drips as well. So I kind of tend to stay away from mops just because I think I have a faster kind of hand style, and traditionally using mops you have to go a bit slower just to get more consistent lines and of course to allow drips to occur. But with this mop I'm going at my normal pace and I don't even really have to squeeze hard, and I'm getting a good amount of flow to the tags as well as a good amount of build up to create the right amount of drips, not too much, not too little. And overall it just feels nice and controllable. The plastic feels squeezable. So this is really what I wanted to see from a mop of this make. And let's be honest, people buy mops for the drips. I know it's a bit of a toy cliche to be in love with tags that have a lot of drips, but this is probably the right amount of drips if you're going to go down that path. Not too much, not too little. You don't have to squeeze very hard to get a lot of drips. If you want to go all out, you can go all out, and it's not like you're having to squeeze the life out of the mop for only 2 drips to come out. I've been trying to talk to you like every night. Ooh, and some of the tags on this board are looking not very good, so apologies to those people, but I am having to compete with a bit of a rougher surface. As you can see, it's a bit more textured than the first board, but the mop is performing pretty well. It's cutting out here and there, but for the most part it's sliding over those bumps and ridges. Not too bad for a mop. And initially I had some concerns that using a mop on this painted and porous surface would mean that the ink would kind of get soaked into the surface and you wouldn't get the best results in terms of drips and flow, but that's not really the case. I think it lends itself to how good kind of the valve system is, the body of the marker is, and the nib. It all works together and allows you to get nice, long and consistent drips. Then when you transfer that to a non-porous surface like metals, glass, smooth plastics, I think that's where you're really going to get nice, rich and opaque looking tags. Alright guys, my back hurts. Not a lot of times you're crouched down like that for long periods of time doing tags. But the biggest thing that I picked up on is that once I changed from the long hair nib to the short hair nib, things just started working 10 times better. The tags were of course drippier, they were more consistent, more ink was coming out, so the tags came out darker and richer, and it just looked much better than the long hair nib. So all these tags here that are in the shot, those are all the short hair nibs. And then if we look up to the decoy, sludge, mouse, turf and semis tags, those are with the long hair nib. And initially with the mouse and turf it's working okay, but by the time it gets to the decoy and the sludge, you can see that it's getting a bit streaky, not a lot of ink is coming out, and it's not as rich as some of those tags down there. My only kind of diagnosis for this would be that the longer hair nib, once you start applying it to the surface, the long hairs all get pushed down and squashed down and flattened, and then that just makes the ink really hard to come out of the nib and hit the surface. Now I don't know what they kind of were thinking with the long hair nib, that maybe it's a lot more durable, but in terms of actually allowing the ink to hit the surface, you're coming out with a lot drier, a lot scratchier, a lot more translucent tags than you are with the stock standard nib. So, you know, let me know in the comments if anyone has had any success with the longer hair nibs, if they've ever used it, but I'd say just stick to the short hair nib for now, because you can see like the comparison. There is no comparison really, in my opinion at least. And just to show you guys what the marker looks like after doing all these tags, it's completely fine really. No leakage, no kind of seeping down the actual body of the marker. My hands aren't all dirty, so that's really good to see, to have a nice clean and consistent reliable mop like this. And as much as they kind of built up the idea of the long hair nib, the short hair nib has worked fine on this surface and it doesn't seem to be cut up at all. It's ready to go again, and this surface isn't glass or something like that that's ultra smooth. You can see all these bumps and ridges that I had to go over, especially on the second board, and the mop has come out fine. So that's all I really have to say about the GROG 10mm squeezer. GROG kind of pulled a fast one in the long hair nib, but I'm not even that mad considering how well the actual mop performed in terms of controllability, flow and drips. It all worked well as a really solid, really reliable marker. So all the hype for GROG has kind of ticked the boxes for me at least, and at least for the 10mm mop, but I'm sure other makes of GROG are probably the same quality as this one. So definitely go ahead and pick this up if you want to. But thanks for watching the video guys. I try to get as detailed and comprehensive as I can with these review videos, so I hope you appreciate that. And I'm sorry if I didn't get around to hitting you up and you've been showing support and commenting your name. Please don't get discouraged and try again. If not, go ahead and hit me up at the Graph Lounge on Instagram. It's probably easier to keep tabs over there than it is on YouTube. As I said, my channel's been exploding thanks to you guys, and sometimes it's just so hard to keep up with the notifications. But you know, thanks for all the support, thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not. Go ahead and leave a like, and until next time, thanks for watching and peace out.
Busy on that, getting tipsy on that. When she said to feel the drink, and there ain't no holding back. You're trying to